Recently, I got a last minute urgent request to complete and deploy my changes. So the app team can perform failover and failback, the resiliency automation, and production contingency. At first, I wasn't sure if I was going to finish in time, but I wasn't really nervous. I got nervous until I was pulled into a call with the app teams and app team POC and the manager from other teams asking me if I would be ready, if my application would be ready to conduct using the code that I deploy for the failover and failback testing. I have never deployed code to production and contingency before, really, for resiliency automation code. And I actually thought that it wasn't as foreign or unfamiliar as I thought it would be. I just think I really thought that I haven't actively been preparing for this step, but I know, right? I will eventually have to do it. And I think it wasn't that difficult because every day I had prepared myself to really look at the changes and look at the code and understand what each part of the code does and what kind of validation I will need to check after deployments. So when the ask finally came, I just got to it and I quite really wasn't really panicking, but I felt like I this is a good opportunity for me to really see what I have learned, right? To really deploy and actually use my changes in a production environment. And I knew I shouldn't be messing up, but if I do, that's okay. Thankfully, I already had about 2 times of experience in lower environment. So, right, the preparation that I had done, and each time I would ask more questions and figure out why and what pieces go where and what kind of scenario happens differently, right? If it's whether it's a planned activity or an unplanned activity, the results and behaviors are slightly different. I don't know enough really to talk about it from scratch, but if I can do it on my own time and review the notes then that I had written down and look at everything I have, then I actually can perform it. But I would need validation and guidance from experienced SRE engineer on my team. The story for writing the code and deploying is not very exciting. It's kind of boring because it's just grabbing the code templates and applying that based on the application team's environments and their services. So, right, with repetition, if I do it 2 times and the third time it's in production, I should be more familiar, and that is true in this case. I wasn't looking at all the Terraform files for the first time. I knew what would make it happen, and I know what are the services I would check actually during the failover and failback activity. Each time I joined these failover and failback calls, if I was just to listen in or if I was actually the support POC for the activity, it gave me more foundation each time. So the idea is that just being prepared and being focused on the story and waiting for anything like any high urgency request to come in. I would be ready to execute. I wouldn't be really scared or just terrified that I would feel too stressed to actually deliver. I did make a mistake in the request. I didn't increase the ECS task to 6 instead of 3 because I was not finding the correct variables or parameters to make it happen in my resiliency automation script. And that's okay, right? Because I wasn't sure where to find it, and but now through this experience, I will know exactly where that change would be, and most importantly, most of the other changes and most of the entire experience, I was able to really learn more and make all the concepts and deployments and validations stick. So it is really beneficial to having to do things for other teams in under pressure. Not that I would really look for it, but when it comes, I want to make sure that I can handle it without breaking. So if you find this helpful, let me know and tell me what are something you have actually need to deliver under pressure, and subscribe if you like real on the job learning.